Datta, Jai Guru Datta, Sri Guru 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 Datta.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Shri Ganapati Satchidananda Sadgurubhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Guru Datta and welcome to Datta Arpanam with your hosts Rishi Nirvan Baru
and Ravita Singh. Jai Guru Datta, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to Datta Arpanam, a showcase of the life, music and teachings of His Holiness Parama Pujya Dr. Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji of Avadhuta Dattapitam in Mysuru. Today's program begins with the offering of pranams, gratitude and this invocation prayer at the sacred feet of beloved Sadgurudeva Pujya Shri Swamiji, as this show, possible only through His divine grace, is offered to him. Please join Pujya Shri Bala Swamiji now in worship.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Shri Ganapati Satchidananda Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Bhuyuta Shri Hari Chinnhitabhyam Agastya Rekhadi Bhiranchitabhyam Nigodha Bijakshara Mudritabhyam Namo Namah Sadguru Padukabhyam. Ganapati Gurumekam Satchidanandarupam Vibhudhanivahasevyam Yogamargadhirudham Sharanamupagatanam Sanghadrivajram Mama Hridaya Nivasam Bhaktinamro Namami, Bhakti Namro Namami.
Once again everyone, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to this morning's edition of Datta Arpanam. Today's program is being brought to you through the kind courtesy of Ramlal Educational Institute of number 12 Exchange Lots Couver, Valini's Drug Mart Limited of 58 to 60 Southern Street, San Fernando, Debe Supermart Limited of 182 SS Erin Road, Debe, and Koke Supermart Limited of 14 Naparima Mayaro Road, San Fernando.
Last week, as the Dasha Avatara series continued here on Datta Arpanam, discussing the story of Varaha Avatara was planned. But without even getting into that Lord's story, just the mention of his name sparked such contemplation that we did not actually get to the story. Today, however, by the grace of Pujya Appaji, that compassionate Lord's story will begin. First though, worship is offered to the remover of obstacles, Lord Ganapati. Please open the Bhajan Mala app or visit the website www.bhajanmala.com, enter Bhajan ID number 17 and join Pujya Appaji in singing this powerful bhajan whose pallavi consists of purely Bij Aksharas or Bij Mantras.
Om 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 Gam Gam Gam. Om 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 Gam Gam Gam. Om Om Gam Gam Gam. Om 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 Gam Gam Gam. Om Om Gam Gam Gam. Vakratundane Ekadantane Vakratundane Ekadantane Vakratundane Ekadantane Vakratundane Ekadantane Modakagastane Lambodharane Modakagastane Lambodharane Bom Bom Gam 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 Bom Bom Gam 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 Bom Bom Gam 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 Shantavadanane Mandagasitane Shantavadanane Mandagasitane Shantavadanane Mandagasitane Shantavadanane Mandagasitane Stula Rupane Surpakarnane Stula Rupane Surpakarnane Bom 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 Gam 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 Bom 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 Gam 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 Bom 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 Gam 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 Bom Siddhi Dutane Buddhidatane Siddhi Dutane Buddhidatane Siddhi Dutane Siddhi Dutane Buddhidatane Adi Pujane Sachidanandane Adi Pujane Sachidanandane Adi Pujane Sachidanandane Adi Pujane Sachidanandane Om Bom Bom Gam 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 Om Bom Bom Gam 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 Om Bom Bom Gam 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 Om Bom Gam Gam Gam.
A beautiful Lord Ganapati bhajan composed by Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji and sung by him in Gambhira Nata Ragam. You are tuned in to Datta Arpanam, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Pujya Shri Swamiji and thanks to the sponsorship by Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited and Kokie Supermart Limited. Thank you for joining us in devotion during this auspicious Sandhya hour.
On last week's episode of Datta Arpanam, you heard that Sri Krishna said that he incarnates when dharma is in danger or when adharma is on the rise. So if this is the purpose for his incarnations, then what was happening to prompt his incarnation as Varaha Swami? Well, let us start with the story of two brothers. But first, please join in worshipping Naranarayana Maharishis, Goddess Saraswati and Sage Vyasa. Narayanam Namaskritya Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam tato jayamudirayet.
Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were two sons born to the couple Kashyapa and Diti. With his mighty, powerful arms, Hiranyakashipu was arrogant and conceited. But by performing intense austerities, he obtained a boon from Lord Brahma, which meant that he could not be killed by anyone. That particular story will be covered in a bit more detail when discussing the Narasimha Avatara of the Lord. But for now, it is enough to say that Hiranyakashipu's haughtiness increased after Lord Brahma granted that boon, and very soon he conquered all the worlds, as well as the lords of all directions, and he ruled over them all.
Hiranyaksha, on the other hand, was always acting in a way which would bring joy to his elder brother. But, being demonic in nature, fighting is what brought him the greatest joy. Holding a mace in his hand, Hiranyaksha traveled all over, looking for a suitable opportunity to fight.
The speed and might of this demon became intolerable. On his neck he would wear a huge flower garland that symbolized his victory. On his shoulders he held a huge mace. When he walked, the huge golden anklets on his legs jingled deafeningly. There was nothing that he feared.
But while he feared nothing, the Devatas became fearful of him, as he possessed unsurpassed mental and physical prowess. Just as snakes hide fearing Garuda, the Devatas began running helter-skelter and hid from Hiranyaksha. As a result, when the demon king Hiranyaksha stepped into heaven, it was totally deserted. He realized that, fearing his might, the Devatas had gone into hiding. To announce his victory, he roared so deafeningly that it resounded throughout heaven. Hiranyaksha then left heaven.
The demon's desire to fight, however, was not quenched. He was unable to find anyone whom he could challenge to a war. That is when he spotted the oceans and felt like playfully swimming in them. Instantly, with a loud and thunderous howl, he plunged into the ocean like a drunk elephant.
Seeing Hiranyaksha in the waters, the ocean animals, who are the army of the ocean lord, shivered terribly and scattered fearfully in various different directions. Even though Hiranyaksha did not even approach them, they were unable to withstand his might. They divided themselves into tiny groups and traveled countless miles in order to save themselves.
And listeners, see how Pujya Appaji described sea creatures. He described them as the army of the sea god. So when you eat these creatures, when you pollute the waterways with plastic bags and containers which endanger their lives, not only are you terrifying these creatures just like a despicable demon did, but you are also interfering with the sea god's army. You are reducing the number of his soldiers. Think about it. Surely he is not pleased by such actions. So do not eat seafood. Do not condone the killing of sea creatures or any creatures for that matter. You just heard how far they fled to save themselves from Hiranyaksha. When you kill or eat the meat of a creature who cried for its life or who tried to save itself, you are committing a grave sin. So please choose a diet in keeping with the practice of ahimsa. Choose a vegetarian or vegan diet.
Through his breath, Hiranyaksha created gigantic waves in the ocean. Playfully hitting these enormous waves with his iron mace, he spent many years in the oceans. He then reached Vibhavari, the capital of Lord Varuna. There he saw Lord Varuna, who is the lord of Patala or hell and of all the aquatic animals. With the intention of cheating Varuna, Hiranyaksha pretended to be an insignificant, lowly person. He fell at Varuna's feet and said, "O mighty king, bless me by agreeing to fight with me."
Hiranyaksha, true to his demonic nature, was itching for a battle. He was restless if he was not engaged in a war. He was constantly on the lookout for a suitable opponent. This demon, who considered Varuna to be his enemy, pretended to praise that lord in order to invite him to a battle. In fact, what he was really doing was ridiculing Varuna.
Varuna deeply reflected upon the demon's words. He suppressed the anger that was bursting forth from within and said, "O demon king, I have completely stopped fighting. You are an expert in warfare. To a warrior of your status, only Lord Sri Hari is a suitable opponent. He is the primordial being. Only he can satisfy your desire. I do not even know how to fight properly. So I suggest that you approach Lord Sri Hari instead. Mighty warriors like you can truly appreciate his power. He too is waiting for a worthy opponent."
These words of Lord Varuna revealed that he knew Hiranyaksha's true nature, and he was warning the demon of what was to come. Varuna said, "Very shortly you will meet this supreme warrior, Sri Hari. Then your pride will be crushed. This lord incarnates periodically only for the purpose of destroying wicked beings and for blessing the noble beings. When you sleep in the battlefield, dogs will roam around you."
When you sleep in the battlefield. Here Lord Varuna is telling Hiranyaksha that death, that final sleep, will meet him on the battlefield if he challenges Lord Sri Hari. But the demon, so lost in conceit about his own powers, failed to pick up on this hidden message, and instead was extremely thrilled when he heard the words of Varuna. He was excited that after all these years he was going to fight an able opponent who could match him in battle. Showing us the dangerous effect which conceit has on a person, Hiranyaksha paid a deaf ear to Varuna's prophecy that he would meet his end at Sri Hari's hands. Remember what Lord Varuna said: "The Lord incarnates to protect the virtuous, punish the wicked, and re-establish Dharma."
But how did this happen when the Lord incarnated as the giant boar Varaha Avatara? Stay tuned to Datta Arpanam to find out. At this stage, let us join in Nama Sankirtanam once again. Please open the Bhajan Mala app or visit the website www.bhajanmala.com, enter Bhajan ID number 362 and join in worshipping Chandi Devi. This Divine Mother, who has also brought about the destruction of many demons, is the destroyer of sins and the cause of the universe. Yet, as the bhajan teaches us, despite this exalted status, she is satisfied with the chanting of the mantra Aim Hrim Shrim. She is satisfied with the singing of the 7 musical notes Sa Re Ga Ma Pa Dha Ni Sa. So listeners, let us join in singing the praises of this Divine Mother. Once again, the Bhajan ID number is 362.
ಚಂಡಾಸುರದಮನಿ ಖಂಡಿತ ಪಾಪ ಭವಜನನಿ ಚಂಡಿ ಚಂಡಾಸುರದಮನಿ ಖಂಡಿತ ಪಾಪ ಭವಜನನಿ ಚಂಡಿ ಚಂಡಾಸುರದಮನಿ ಖಂಡಿತ ಪಾಪ ಭವಜನನಿ ಚಂಡಿ ಚಂಡಾಸುರದಮನಿ ಖಂಡಿತ ಪಾಪ ಭವಜನನಿ. नवदुर्गाकृतिधारिणी अष्टमातृकारूपिणी नवदुर्गाकृतिधारिणी दुर्दमभण्डनकारिणी दुर्मदखण्डनधोरणि दुर्दमभण्डनकारिणी दुर्मदखण्डनधोरणि 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 चण्डी चण्डासुरदमनी खण्डित पापा भवजननी चण्डी चण्डासुरदमनी खण्डित पापा भवजननी चण्डी चण्डासुरदमनी खण्डित पापा भवजननी
चण्डी चण्डासुरदमनी खण्डित पापा भवजननी
सप्तसती मनुसंस्तुता ललिताख्याने प्रस्तुता सप्तसती मनुसंस्तुता ललिताख्याने प्रस्तुता देवी सूक्तैरविष्टुता त्वं भव देवी मयि मुदिता देवी सूक्तैरविष्टुता त्वं भव देवी मयि मुदिता त्वं भव देवी मयि मुदिता त्वं भव देवी मयि मुदिता चण्डी चण्डासुरदमनी खण्डित पापा भवजननी चण्डी चण्डासुरदमनी खण्डित पापा भवजननी चण्डी चण्डासुरदमनी खण्डित पापा भवजननी
चण्डी चण्डासुरदमनी खण्डित पापा भवजननी
ऐं ह्रीं श्रीं मनु जपतुष्टा ऐं ह्रीं श्रीं मनु जपतुष्टा सरिगमपदनि स्वरभूष्टा सरिगमपदनि स्वरभूष्टा ओंकाराद्भुत रवभूष्टा ओंकाराद्भुत रवभूष्टा सच्चिदानन्द स्थितिशिष्टा सच्चिदानन्द स्थितिशिष्टा चण्डी चण्डासुरदमनी खण्डित पापा भवजननी 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 भवजननी भवजननी.
Listeners, when a virus affects a computer, it is not easy to destroy it or to stop it in its tracks. So too, it is very difficult to wipe out evil thoughts once they enter the brain. May Chandi Devi destroy in all any thoughts of ill will towards oneself or towards others. May peace reign throughout creation. You are tuned in to Datta Arpanam, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji, and thanks to the sponsorship by Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited.
Before that bhajan, you heard that unfazed by the warning issued by Lord Varuna, The conceited demon Hiranyaksha was excited about going to battle with Lord Sri Hari. He anxiously found out from Narada Maharishi where he could find Lord Sri Hari. With lightning speed he reached Patala, a type of hell. There he saw Lord Varaha, who was the size of a huge mountain. Lord Varaha was holding the earth on his tusks and bringing it up. In front of the Lord, who was gleaming with his bright red eyes and lustrous body, Hiranyaksha's radiance faded.
The simplistic version of what the earth was doing in Patala is Hiranyaksha had, before this time, taken the earth to the bottom of the ocean. The more academic account of what happened was that with the ego of his boons, Hiranyaksha had turned the entire earth into water and then took it to Patala Loka. He turned the entire earth into water and had hidden himself underneath it.
Now, seeing Lord Varaha in Patala with the earth in his tusks, the demon thought, "Oh, this is an animal that roams about in the forests. Why is it swimming in these waters?"
These thoughts made Hiranyaksha burst out laughing boisterously. Addressing the Lord, he shouted, "O fool, come here. Throw away that earth. Lord Brahma, who has created this universe, has gifted us demons the earth. So earth is under our control. You cannot take away the earth right under our eyes and obtain any happiness. You, who have incarnated as a boar, are the lowest amongst the Devatas. O fool, is it possible that in order to destroy us, our enemies have nourished you? If not, what is the reason behind this huge form of yours? You seem to be a magician. Instead of appearing in your original form, you are appearing in this form of a boar and are attacking the demons in order to obtain victory. The power of illusion or yoga maya is your true form. Nevertheless, your prowess is insignificant. Your valor is demeaning and lowly. I will now destroy you, and through this, wipe the tears of my kith and kin."
The foolish and arrogant Hiranyaksha continued by saying to Varaha Swami, "When I hurl this mace, your head will be smashed to pieces. O fool, the time of your death has arrived. When you die, these sages who ardently worship you will automatically die, just like a tree whose mother root has been plucked out."
Like sharp thorns, the words uttered by his enemy deeply pricked Lord Varaha. Earth, which was resting on his tusk, trembled profusely upon hearing the words of the demon. Teaching us how we too should behave, even though these harsh words pricked the Lord, he tolerated them. Just as a male elephant chased by a crocodile reaches the shore together with its female companion, Lord Varaha, together with Earth, safely emerged from the water.
Listeners, it is a demonic trait to speak ill of God or Guru. Today's story is teaching us that. The demon Hiranyaksha may have upset the Lord with his harsh words, but let us aim to please him with words of devotion as we join Puja Appaji once again in Nama Sankirtanam. Please open the Bhajanmala app or visit the website www.bhajanmala.com, enter Bhajan ID number 2070 and join in singing praise to Lord Vishnu, the granter of liberation.
वन्दे मुकुन्दं वन्दे अरविन्दं शोभितबिम्बं रागचन्द्रं वन्दे मुकुन्दं वन्दे अरविन्दं शोभितबिम्बं रागचन्द्रम् कृपा వందే ముకుందం వందే అరవిందం శోభితబింబం రాగచంద్రం వందే ముకుందం వందే అరవిందం శోభితబింబం రాగచంద్రం పాప వినాశం త్రిజన్మదూరం పాప వినాశం త్రిజన్మదూరం క్షమాశీలం సుగుణశీలం క్షమాశీలం సుగుణశీలం వందే ముకుందం వందే అరవిందం శోభితబింబం రాగచంద్రం వందే ముకుందం వందే అరవిందం శోభితబింబం రాగచంద్రం గీత వినోదం సచ్చిదానందం గీత వినోదం సచ్చిదానందం సచ్చిదానందం యోగమిత్రం సచ్చిదానందం యోగమిత్రం వందే ముకుందం వందే అరవిందం శోభితబింబం రాగచంద్రం వందే ముకుందం వందే అరవిందం శోభితబింబం రాగచంద్రం రాధాకృష్ణ 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 రాధాకృష్ణ
రాధాకృష్ణ రాధాకృష్ణ రాధాకృష్ణ రాధాకృష్ణ
రాధాకృష్ణ రాధాకృష్ణ రాధాకృష్ణ రాధాకృష్ణ
రాధాకృష్ణ రాధాకృష్ణ రాధాకృష్ణ రాధాకృష్ణ
గురువాయూరప్ప 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 గురువాయూరప్ప
గురువాయూరప్ప గురువాయూరప్ప గురువాయూరప్ప
గురువాయూరప్ప గురువాయూరప్ప గురువాయూరప్ప గురువాయూరప్ప గురువాయూరప్ప గురువాయూరప్ప గురువాయూరప్ప గురువాయూరప్ప
వందే ముకుందం వందే అరవిందం శోభితబింబం రాగచంద్రం
వందే ముకుందం వందే అరవిందం శోభితబింబం రాగచంద్రం వందే ముకుందం వందే అరవిందం
వందే ముకుందం వందే అరవిందం శోభితబింబం రాగచంద్రం
రాధాకృష్ణ 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 రాధాకృష్ణ
రాధాకృష్ణ
రాధాకృష్ణ రాధాకృష్ణ రాధాకృష్ణ రాధాకృష్ణ రాధాకృష్ణ రాధాకృష్ణ రాధాకృష్ణ రాధాకృష్ణ హరే హరే కృష్ణ హరే కృష్ణ హరే కృష్ణ వందే ముకుందం వందే అరవిందం శోభితబింబం రాగచంద్రం శోభితబింబం
రాగచంద్రం
వందే ముకుందం వందే అరవిందం వందే ముకుందం వందే అరవిందం శోభితబింబం రాగచంద్రం శోభితబింబం రాగచంద్రం
శోభితబింబం రాగచంద్రం శోభితబింబం రాగచంద్రం శోభితబింబం రాగచంద్రం శోభితబింబం రాగచంద్రం శోభితబింబం
The bhajan compositions of Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji have the power to invigorate just as that bhajan did, I'm sure. You are listening to Datta Arpanam. Thank you for tuning in to today's offering, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Pujya Shri Swamiji And thanks to the sponsorship by Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited.
So far today, we have heard that Lord Varaha was accosted by the arrogant demon Hiranyaksha. That demon had golden hair all over his body. His tusks were frightful. Seeing Lord Varaha emerging from the waters, he roared like thunder. Just as a crocodile rushes to catch an elephant, he rushed towards Lord Varaha in great fury and roared, "Shameless persons do not know the difference between right actions and wrong actions. Such wicked persons escape timidly. Are you not ashamed of behaving in such a shameless manner?"
At that exact moment, Lord Brahma was praying to Lord Varaha, who had brought the earth safely out of the water. The Devatas were raining flowers upon him and were praising him profusely. Without heeding the taunting words uttered by the demon Hiranyaksha, the Lord carried the earth and deposited it safely at a suitable place. He then blessed it by transferring his own energy into it.
Listeners, the tusks of Varaha Swami, those tusks which carried planet Earth to safety, those tusks brightened even Patala Loka. Among the 7 lower lokas, Patala is considered the last one under the earth. There are 7 more lokas above the earth. The brightness of the tusks of Mahavaraha spread to even the lowest of the worlds. But while this is true, it is only a superficial description of the Lord. If we look at the deeper meaning, we see that Varaha Swami is the light of our invisible heart, the Patala Loka of the body. May Lord Varaha lighten all the divine spark of goodwill, of ahimsa or non-violence, and of devotion.
Listeners, to find out what happened after Varaha Swami emerged from the ocean with the earth, you'll need to tune in to Datta Arpanam next Sunday at 6 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time, right here on 103.1 FM. Now though, we are still in the period of Pitra Paksha. This is a particularly auspicious time for praying for the upliftment of the souls of our ancestors. As you learned last week from the story of Jada, which was shared here on Datta Arpanam, if we chant chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita daily, the mains are not only pleased but also uplifted. So let us all join together and chant these 43 shlokas. May Shri Krishna be pleased with this offering. May Pujya Shri Swamiji be pleased with this offering. May the mains be pleased with this offering. Om Shri Krishnaya Paramatmane Namaha.
You can find the words to chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita by entering Stotra ID number 2275 on the Bhajanmala app. To better ensure reaping the merit of chanting, the Parayana of chapter 3 will be followed by the chanting of the 66th shloka of chapter 18 of Bhagavad Gita.
So if you also need the words for that shloka, they can be found by scrolling down to the 66th verse when you enter shloka ID number 2290 on the Bhajanmala app.
So once again, chapter 3 is Stotra ID number 2275 and shloka 66 of chapter 18 2290. Please join in chanting.
अथ तृतीयोऽध्यायः कर्मयोगः अर्जुन उवाच ज्यायसि चेत् कर्मणस्ते मता बुद्धिर्जनार्दन तत्किं कर्मणि घोरे मां नियोजयसि केशव व्यामिश्रेणेव वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे तदेकं वद निश्चित्य येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम्। श्रीभगवानुवाच लोकेऽस्मिन् विविधा निष्ठा पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघ ज्ञानयोगेन साङ्ख्यानां कर्मयोगेन योगिनां न कर्मणामनारम्भात् నైష్కర్మ్యం పురుషోశ్నుతే న చ సన్యసనాదేవ సిద్ధిం సమధిగచ్చతి నహి కశ్చిత్ క్షణమపి జాతు తిష్టత్య కర్మకృత్ కార్యతే హ్యవశః కర్మ సర్వః ప్రకృతిజైర్గుణైః కర్మేంద్రియాణి సంయమ్య య ఆస్తే మనసా స్మరన్ ఇంద్రియార్థాన్ విమూఢాత్మా మిథ్యాచారః స ఉచ్యతే యస్త్వింద్రియాణి మనసా నియమ్యారభతేర్జున కర్మేంద్రియైః కర్మయోగం అసక్తః స విశిష్యతే నియతం కురు కర్మత్వం కర్మజ్యాయో హ్యకర్మణః శరీరయాత్రాపి చ తే న ప్రసిద్ధ్యేద కర్మణః యజ్ఞార్థాత్ కర్మణోన్యత్ర లోకోయం కర్మబంధనః తదర్థం కర్మ కౌంతేయ ముక్తసంగః సమాచర సహ యజ్ఞాః ప్రజా సృష్ట్వా పురోవాచ ప్రజాపతిః అనేన ప్రసవిష్యధ్వం ఏష వోస్త్విష్టకామధుక్ దేవాన్ భావయతానేన తే దేవా భావయంతు వః పరస్పరం భావయంతః శ్రేయః పరమవాప్స్యథ ఇష్టాన్ భోగాన్ హి వో దేవాః దాస్యంతే యజ్ఞభావితాః తైర్దత్తాన ప్రదాయేభ్యః యో భుంక్తేస్తేన ఏవ సః యజ్ఞశిష్టాశినః సంతః ముచ్యంతే సర్వకిల్బిషైః భుంజతే తే త్వఘం పాపాః ఏ పచంత్యాత్మకారణాత్ అన్నాద్భవంతి భూతాని పర్జన్యాదన్న సంభవః యజ్ఞాద్భవతి పర్జన్యః యజ్ఞః కర్మ సముద్భవః కర్మ బ్రహ్మోద్భవం విద్ధి బ్రహ్మాక్షర సముద్భవం తస్మాత్ సర్వగతం బ్రహ్మ నిత్యం యజ్ఞే ప్రతిష్ఠితం ఏవం ప్రవర్తితం చక్రం నానువర్తయతి హయః అఘాయురింద్రియారామః మోఘం పార్థ సజీవతి యస్త్వాత్మరతిరేవ స్యాత్ ఆత్మతృప్తశ్చ మానవః ఆత్మన్యేవ చ సంతుష్టః తస్య కార్యం న విద్యతే నైవ తస్య కృతేనార్థః నా కృతేనేహ కశ్చన న చాస్య సర్వభూతేషు కశ్చిదర్థవ్యపాశ్రయః తస్మాదసక్తః సతతం కార్యం కర్మ సమాచర అసక్తో హ్యాచరన్ కర్మ పరమాప్నోతి పూరుషః కర్మణైవ హి సంసిద్ధిం ఆస్థితా జనకాదయః లోకసంగ్రహమేవాపి సంపశ్యన్ కర్తుమర్హసి యద్యదాచరతి శ్రేష్ఠః తత్తదేవేతరో జనః స యత్ప్రమాణం కురుతే లోకస్తదనువర్తతే న మే పార్థాస్తి కర్తవ్యం త్రిషు లోకేషు కించన నానవాప్తమవాప్తవ్యం వర్త ఏవ చ కర్మణి యది హ్యహం న వర్తేయ జాతు కర్మణ్యతంద్రితః మమ వర్త్మానువర్తంతే మనుష్యాః పార్థ సర్వశః ఉత్సీదేయురిమే లోకాః న కుర్యాం కర్మ చేదహం శంకరస్య చ కర్తా స్యాం ఉపహన్యామిమాః ప్రజాః సక్తాః కర్మణ్య విద్వాంసః యథా కుర్వంతి భారత కుర్యాద్విద్వాంస్తథా సక్తః చికీర్షుర్లోకసంగ్రహం న బుద్ధిభేదం జనయేత్ అజ్ఞానాం కర్మసంగినాం జోషయేత్ సర్వకర్మాణి విద్వాన్ యుక్తః సమాచరన్ ప్రకృతేః క్రియమాణాని గుణైః కర్మాణి సర్వశః అహంకార విమూఢాత్మా కర్తాహమితి మన్యతే తత్వవిత్తు మహాబాహో గుణకర్మ విభాగయోః గుణాగుణేషు వర్తంతే ఇతి మత్వా న సజ్జతే ప్రకృతేర్గుణసమ్మూఢాః సజ్జంతే గుణకర్మసు తాన కృష్ణ విదో మందాన్ कृष्ण विन्न विचालयेत् मयि सर्वाणि कर्माणि सन्न्यस्याध्यात्मचेतसा निराशीर्निर्ममो भूत्वा युध्यस्व विगतज्वरः ये मे मतमिदं नित्यम् अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवाः श्रद्धावन्तो न सूयन्तः मुच्यन्ते तेऽपि कर्मभिः ये त्वेतदभ्यसूयन्तः नानुतिष्ठन्ति मे मतम् सर्वज्ञानविमूढांस्तान् विद्धि नष्टानचेतसः सदृशं चेष्टते स्वस्याः प्रकृतेर्ज्ञानवानपि प्रकृतिं यान्ति भूतानि निग्रहः किं करिष्यति इन्द्रियस्येन्द्रियस्यार्थे रागद्वेषौ व्यवस्थितौ तयोर्नवशमागच्छेत् तौ ह्यस्य परिपन्थिनौ श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मात् स्वनुष्ठितात् स्वधर्मे निधनं श्रेयः परधर्मो भयावहः अर्जुन उवाच अथ केन प्रयुक्तोऽयम् पापं चरति पूरुषः अनिच्छन्नपि वार्ष्णेय बलादिव नियोजितः श्रीभगवानुवाच काम एष क्रोध एषः रजो गुणसमुद्भवः महाशनो महापाप्मा विद्धेनमिह वैरिणम् धूमेनाव्रियते वह्निः यथादर्शो मलेन च यथोल्बेनावृतो गर्भः तथा तेनेदमावृतम् आवृतं ज्ञानमेतेन ज्ञानिनो नित्यवैरिणा कामरूपेण कौन्तेय दुष्पूरेणानलेन च इन्द्रियाणि मनोबुद्धिः अस्याधिष्ठानमुच्यते एतैर्विमोहयत्येषः ज्ञानमावृत्य देहिनम् तस्मात् त्वमिन्द्रियाण्यादौ नियम्य भरतर्षभ पाप्मानं प्रजहिह्येनं ज्ञानविज्ञाननाशनम् इन्द्रियाणि पराण्याहुः इन्द्रियेभ्यः परं मनः मनसस्तु परा बुद्धिः यो बुद्धेः परतस्तु सः एवं बुद्धेः परं बुद्ध्वा संस्तभ्यात्मानमात्मना जहि शत्रुं महाबाहो कामरूपं दुरासदम् इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे कर्मयोगो नाम तृतीयोऽध्यायः सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यः मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः।
Om Shri Krishnaya Paramatmane Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Listeners, at this time we begin to wrap up today's episode of Datta Arpanam.
Pranams and gratitude are offered at the divine feet of beloved Sadgurudeva, Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji and Pujya Shri 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 Datta Vijayananda Tirtha Swamiji, without whose teachings, compassion, love, guidance and music, this program would not exist.
Pranams to you, Puja Appaji and Sri Bala Swamiji. Kindly forgive any errors which may have been committed in preparing or in sharing today's episode of Datta Arpanam, and please guide us to avoid such errors in the future.
Special thanks are extended to the staff at 103.1 FM and to the sponsors of Datta Arpanam: Ramlal Educational Institute, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited and Kokie Supermart Limited. And of course, dear listener, an extra special thank you is extended to you for sharing your Sunday morning with us.
Remember, if you would like to listen to today's offering again, the podcast will be uploaded to 103.1 FM's website by tomorrow evening. Simply visit www.103fm.tt, click on podcasts, and scroll down to Datta Arpanam. Alternatively, you can also access the link via the Datta Arpanam Facebook page.
Once again, everyone, thank you for tuning in today. You are invited to please tune in to 103.1 FM again next Sunday at 6 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time for another episode of Datta Arpanam, a showcase of the life, music, and teachings of His Holiness Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji.
Jai Guru Datta.
Shri Guru Datta. Harihi Om Tat Sat.
नाम सुखदाई भजरे मना द्राम बीज मंत्र नित्य जपरे मना
दत्त नाम सुखदाई भजरे मना राम बीज मंत्र नित्य जपरे मना
दत्त नाम सुखदाई भजरे मना द्राम बीज मंत्र नित्य जपरे मना
दत्त नाम सुखदाई भजरे मना राम बीज मंत्र नित्य जपरे मना
दया सागर कष्ट पीडहारक दत्त दया सागर कष्ट पीडहारक भक्ति मुक्तिदायक सदा सहायक भक्ति मुक्तिदायक सदा सहायक दत्त नाम
सुखदाई भजरे मना राम बीज मंत्र नित्य जपरे मना दत्त नाम सुखदाई भजरे मना नित्य जपरे मना
दत्त नाम फलदाई सुन रे मना बार बार दत्त नाम भजरे मना दत्त नाम फलदाई सुन रे मना बार बार दत्त नाम भजरे मना
दत्त नाम सुखदाई भजरे मना राम बीज मंत्र नित्य जपरे मना दत्त नाम सुखदाई भजरे मना राम बीज मंत्र नित्य जपरे मना
विषय दुःखदाई भजरे मना भोग विषय दुःखदाई भजरे मना जन्म सफल हो जाए भजरे मना जन्म सफल हो जाए भजरे मना दत्त
दत्तनाम सुखदायि भजरे मना राम बीज मंत्र नित्य जपरे मना दत्तनाम सुखदायि भजरे मना राम बीज मंत्र नित्य जपरे मना
दत्त नाम अमर धन पावरे मन दत्त नाम अमर धन पावरे मन दत्त दत्त नाम सदा गावरे मन दत्त दत्त नाम सदा गावरे मन
दत्तनाम सुखदायि भजरे मना राम बीज मंत्र नित्य जपरे मना दत्तनाम सुखदायि भजरे मना राम बीज मंत्र नित्य जपरे 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 मना
वराह स्वामी की श्री हरि की वराल కొండకు నమో నమో
वराह स्वामी की श्री हरि की वराल కొండకు नमो नमो
वराह स्वामी की श्री हरि की वराल కొండకు नमो नमो
वराह स्वामी की श्री हरि की वराल కొండకు नमो नमो
धरणी देविनि उद्धరించిన
ధరణి దేవిని ఉద్ధరించిన
కోరల బలముకు నమో నమో
కోరల బలముకు నమో నమో
హిరణ్యాక్షుని సంహరించిన
హిరణ్యాక్షుని సంహరించిన
హరిశౌర్యానికి నమో నమో
హరిశౌర్యానికి నమో నమో
వరాహ స్వామికి శ్రీహరికి వరాల కొండకు నమో నమో
వరాహ స్వామికి శ్రీహరికి వరాల కొండకు నమో నమో
శ్రీనివాసుకు స్థలమును ఇచ్చిన
శ్రీనివాసము స్థలమును ఇచ్చిన
శ్రీనిధిపతికి నమో నమో
శ్రీనిధిపతికి నమో నమో
వాణి సన్నుత మృదుపద దేవుకు
వాణి సన్నుత మృదుపద దేవుకు
సచిదానందకు నమో నమో
సచిదానందకు నమో నమో
సచిదానందకు నమో నమో
సచిదానందకు నమో నమో
వరాహ స్వామికి శ్రీహరికి వరాల కొండకు నమో నమో
వరాహ స్వామికి శ్రీహరికి వరాల కొండకు నమో నమో
వరాల కొండకు నమో నమో
వరాల కొండకు నమో నమో
జయ బోలో వరాహ స్వామి की
జై
సద్గురునాథ మహారాజ్ की
జై
ఓం శాంతి 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 హరి ఓం తత్సత్